On a daily basis, we get a lot of emails from people who have problems with their dogs. The core for most of these behavioral problems is a lack of pack structure. The following video is from our DVD titled Establishing Pack Structure with the Family Pet. It's the opening to one of the segments in that DVD. This lecture pretty much defines where a lot of people go wrong with their dogs. For dogs to become calm and submissive, they need to be able to anticipate what we expect from them. To anticipate our needs, they must first learn our rules. It's through the groundwork program that we introduce the dog to what our rules are. In the world of pack structure, there are genetic rules that the dog instinctually knows and understands, and then there are rules that the leader comes up with, which the dogs are expected to live by. Some examples of genetic rules are the pack leader gets the best spot to sit or sleep, the pack leader gets the best food, the lower ranking dogs move out of the way of the pack leader when he goes by, the pack leader goes through doors and downstairs first before lower ranking members. Some of our rules are you don't pee and mark inside the house, you're calm and submissive in your dog crate, you don't pull on the leash when we walk down the street. All of the toys are our toys and not dog toys. Visitors to our home are our visitors and not the dog's visitors. And dogs don't get on furniture, or if they do, they only do so after they're invited up, and they always get down when they're told to. Now, every pack leader will need to come up with his or her own list of rules that they expect their dog to follow. This list may not be the same. The perfect example is, in our home, we never allow our dogs on the furniture. Yet, we understand that some folks with small dogs accept this. So the key is to invite them up and tell them to get down when you want them down. The number one handler rule is to be consistent in enforcing the rules that you set up for your dog. Just as we have rules that we expect our dogs to follow, there are also rules that handlers need to follow. Probably the most important one is not to be abusive to your dog. People can be either physically abusive by overcorrecting their dog for infractions of their rules, or they can be mentally abusive by not being clear and concise in their communication with their dogs and browbeating their dogs with verbal communication when the dog really doesn't understand it. The most important thing that you can do is to allow your dog to maintain his dignity throughout all of your training, whether it be pack structure training, whether it be training obedience skills. You need to be fair, you need to be firm, and more importantly, you need to be consistent all the time in your training. That's how you develop respect with your dog. I try and tell people, don't rehearse bad behavior. By that I mean be 100% consistent in how you enforce your rules. If you're not consistent, if you allow your dog to break a rule 1 minute and then you enforce a rule another minute, you're basically allowing your dog to rehearse bad behavior. So if anything, probably the most important rule that you have as an owner is to be consistent in how you enforce your rules, with the bottom line being that your consistency always needs to allow your dog to maintain his dignity.